Joining us now is Gershon Baskin. He's the Middle East director for the International Communities Organization. He initiated the peace negotiations that led to the release of Israeli soldier Gilad Shalit in 2011. Gershon, thanks for joining us. The IDF says the hostages and that incident involving the 3 who were killed by the IDF is still under investigation. But an IDF spokesperson said this today right here on MSNBC.
We do not shoot people with white flags. We do not shoot people, even if they are people from Gaza, even if they are Hamas terrorists that have laid down their weapons and surrender, we do not shoot them. There's a lot to learn from this tragedy, and we are doing that.
What's your reaction to what happened and how the Israeli government is responding to the anger?
It is tragic what happened on Friday night to those 3 hostages who should have been home celebrating with their families. And I think the IDF spokesperson, as well as the chief of staff of the army, made it very clear that it's against the rules of the Israeli army itself. It's against our moral code to shoot people who are surrendering. Even if they were Hamas terrorists and they were surrendering, it is against the rules of the IDF to shoot them. This is a result of an army which is burdened by urban warfare in a very dangerous place with lots of booby traps, young soldiers who are unexperienced and very tired. And it should have never happened. It's a tragic. And what we have to understand from this is that every day the hostages are left in Gaza is a risk to their lives. We have to bring them home.
We've heard from Prime Minister Netanyahu that the military pressure is what's going to lead to negotiations, and that the Israeli military is the very best, right? They're still trying to recover those hostages also as they continue their operations on the ground. But is Israel capable of bringing the remaining hostages home without negotiations?
No, I don't think they are, and I don't accept the idea that the military pressure is creating a willingness of Hamas to negotiate. It seems to be quite the opposite. Hamas has made it very clear that they're not willing to begin negotiations on the hostages until there's a complete ceasing of the war, which is something Israel is not ready to do. Nonetheless, there are attempts to renew negotiations. A meeting between the head of the Mossad, the head of the CIA, and the Prime Minister of Qatar took place today in Warsaw. And for the first time in my knowledge in the history of Israeli-Hamas relations, it seems that the Israelis are actually taking the initiative and putting down an offer on the table to be discussed. Now what we need is for the United States to apply extreme pressure on Qatar, for them to apply that pressure on the Hamas leadership in Doha.
There's also the division right now over the issue of what comes after this war. You write in the Times of Israel that attempts at peacemaking have to be different after this horrible war, relying on mechanisms that would instill trust and compliance on both sides and not just a policy of containment. Quote, Netanyahu's strategy of removing the Palestinian issue and with it the two-state solution from the regional, global and even local agenda had succeeded until it blew up in our faces on October 7th. It should now be quite apparent to all that the most fundamental issue of consequence, the primary existential issue facing Israelis and Palestinians, is the conflict between them. This conflict cannot be managed. It also cannot be strategized away unilaterally by the stronger side of the conflict. What do you mean by that?
Well, this war has to be a wake-up call for all Israelis and Palestinians. We've been busy killing each other for more than 100 years now, destroying each other, attempting to reject the existence of the other side. And since we have now gone through the biggest trauma since the Holocaust, the Jewish people, and that without comparison, the Palestinians are experiencing another Nakba, another catastrophe, as they did in 1948. It's time for us not to forget, but to begin to look forward, not only backwards. And we need the young generation of Israelis and Palestinians to stand up and say no more and demand from our leaders, who are going to be very different leaders after this war is over, because those who brought us here have to be held responsible for their breaches of trust with their own people, the Israeli side and the Palestinian side. And we need to find a way to recognize each other's right to be here. We all have the same right to the same rights.
Just a very quick answer, if you will. Can a two-state solution happen with Prime Minister Netanyahu as the country's leader?
No, it cannot. That's why we need another reason why we need to replace him. And we also need President Biden to take the lead in recognizing the state of Palestine. After 30 years of talking about a two-state solution, we need to make it real.
Gershon Baskin.